Hello traders, welcome to another edition of DAX Bigger Picture weekly videos. I'm recording this video on Sunday, April the 6th. Starting it with the DAX monthly chart. Nothing bullish is going on here or on other time frames, and I will go in the daily and weekly chart to speak more about potential downside targets that we can get next week. Now let's start this video with the charts going into Friday, and that would be this chart. This chart was given with the morning notes, DAX Index Daily, DAX Futures Daily, and these arrows here are pointing on our large time frame targets, large time frame target number 1 and number 2. I also emphasize that in this area between 21,500 down to, let's say, 20,500, so in this area of 1,000 points there is really nothing much of significance. This is morning notes from Thursday, and that would be this 1,000 points of B grade supports there. I also wrote before about this dipstick low and February tariff low, that they are not really something that should be considered as significant support. Those would be this here, because those were news driven lows, and yet that was the only thing to catch an eye in this 1,000 point space. It was support for us on Friday. It got broken, but then later served fantastically as resistance. This large time frame number 2 was hit and produced a 600 point bounce. Now this is how DAX Index Daily closed on Friday, and on the way down they did a good job. They cleared 5 untested cash closes from before. They filled 2 untested gaps, but they also made some new index references. Let's go now to the daily chart. So clearer space here. The things that are new now on daily chart would be this new gap. It is a 29 point wide gap only, and obviously we are going to have on our charts Friday close, which is this here, 20,642. I, however, is still on this area here. This would be the test of December high and test of the January breakout. This here was January breakout, and you can remember how we had a pretty crazy move after that January breakout. DAX was a leading market, and still a market that, when we compare it with US markets, fell the least amount of percent. As we can see here, the drop for now is less than 13%. Dow Jones fell 15%, S&P 17.5%, while Nasdaq is in the bear market, more than 21%, Russell 27% from the all-time high, again DAX 14%. Previous breakout points were retested later, and you can see that here, for example, it was October high. It was retested in December, and the market made December pullback low. How it made that pullback low? By poking 25 points below the previous swing high, and that is the way how markets is making those swing lows. We had that here for a while on Friday, and the bounce was for 600 points, but look where market closed. They made a series of bounces there, but every further bounce having the lower high. Therefore, the odds are pretty significant that this is not going to hold anymore. And this is something to pay attention to, and that is why the eye is still there. I think it is a good idea to move a notch higher and to zoom out this picture using only levels. So this is DAX weekly chart, and what we had here was, first of all, balance breakdown of a multi-week balance, and with this balance breakdown, price got back into the channels, into this one, which is holding the price from October 2022, and into this red one, which is holding the price from March 2020. As we can see, we had a test of December high, and these would be the lower levels. I would put my eye on all of these three levels, and I will tell you why. This December high is something that corresponds August lows, August swing lows on the US markets. More about that was in the bigger picture video for the US markets. And these lower highs are on the lower levels. As we can see, those lower levels already got tested. So we had a break, pullback to the breakout point, continuation. Then pullback to the breakout point, continuation. This breakout point wasn't tested until Friday. Again, there was a 600-point bounce, but now market closed in the vicinity of that level. The more tests of the same support, it's not going to make it stronger, it's only going to make it weaker. So what could happen here, and why are these highs here? If we make a fib like this, and this would be the fib from August swing low, which is a significant low, I think, both on DAX and on the US markets. Look where the 61.8 is. It is close. Let's say you see that there is a 150 points difference, but 150 points is 1 millimeter on the weekly chart. 150 points on the weekly chart isn't that much. So that's why that second high is there, and the third high is on the previous all-time high from May 2024, because second fib would be this, from this area here, from October 2023, and you see where the halfback is. So this is the area to watch. And why is this area to watch? Because down to that area, DAX would have minus 19.55% of a down move. So pretty close to that technical threshold of a bear market of minus 20%. In order to see this lower levels, obviously market would need to go under December high. And once again, eye on a daily chart is there. And another thing that we should keep in mind would be a daily 200. Daily 200, which you can see it here, is currently on 19,950. But obviously this number is not going to be seen on Monday after etc. open, and that would be one of the things that we are watching on the way down. Out of these untested cash closes, I doubt that any of them can provide some significant support. Large time frame level would be obviously October high. There is one of the unfilled gaps there as well, but I think still between these two levels, daily 200 would be the one to watch. And we could also observe, now once again, that is around 19,950, right? And it is likely going to be higher on Monday. One thing on a monthly chart that I would include would be this. Let's check Bollinger Bands, and you can also see how in this part here, monthly 20 was used as support here, March 2023, then October 2023, and here on August 2024. That is that August 2024. That was the pullback to the broken monthly channel, a channel that was holding the price for 17 years. That's why this is here important. However, this, as we can see, it's on 17K and some change. While this, you see where this is, around 18,700, roughly. So those would be the down levels that I personally would watch, and I would also watch, can market break but then regain support like this. This is a very good example. December pullback low, price went only 25 points below the level, and also see that they held above daily 50. Now we have daily 200 down there, so all of that are things to watch. I suspect that this down move could go further down, let's say to daily 200 for start, and then to think about those levels under this one. Also, one of the scenarios would be to actually go not that further below December high and then regaining this level, likely that lower odd scenario on S&P, that they could actually regain the August 2024 swing low. I think that higher odds are likely to be bounces from lower supports than from here. I would also watch, in case of a bounce, halfback of this big candle. That is the old school thing to watch, and the halfback of this would obviously come in line with our first downside target that we got from Thursday, and in the vicinity of that pullback high that is around 21,040. So that is a first big resistance to the upside. It is this area here, and I think that sellers on bigger time frames, on large time frames, should be given the upper hand as long as they are below 21,040. So that would be it in this edition of DAX Bigger Picture videos, and as always, I wish you a pleasant weekend and good trading.